So from the technology piece, though, and charging the Secretary of State with kind of putting this together over the course of, what's remaining of the original 12-month timeline, the concept of cost, right? Because a lot of people talk about cost and will it actually save the consumer money? So in looking physically in the bill and what's written, so the $5,000 annual fee for the solution provider makes sense, right? Licensing fee, absolutely. We have to fund this somehow, right? And then so the other piece of it, I wonder about the $5 fee per notarial act. And so I'm wondering if there's a discussion at all, because I didn't see it in the bill and I may have missed it, right? I tend to proofread sometimes, or skim, if you would, right? I go back to my collegiate days of that. And so $5 per notarial act. You're familiar with lender packages. So if I've got 15 notary acknowledgments within a lender package, a single package, am I looking at $5 per notary, or am I looking at $5 of the macro of this is a singular notarial act of a lender package? Because we both know at the end of the day that the cost is going to get passed on to the person utilizing the software. So if this is going to be driven by lenders, that's going to be an extreme cost per act, right, of expense, and that's going to get passed on to the consumer. I'm just wondering if there's any thoughts on that as well from that cost perspective of per notarial act, I guess. That's one of the things that sticks out to me.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question, because that's something that we do need to clarify. The bill, paraphrasing, I think it essentially says that, in fact, I think that fees raise from $5 to $10, and it says per principal signature, paraphrasing. So that is something that I think we will need to certainly clarify. That could be kind of vague in how the legislation is written. And that actually brings up an even more important point, which is anytime you're legislating something, you always have to try to perfect it, and you kind of learn over time. And you just kind of alluded to this a moment ago, but the Secretary of State's office is going to be working through, the technology platform and in tandem with IT, and, how all that can be done the most effective and efficient, and safest way possible. And so we'll continue our conversations with those agencies and make sure we're doing this the best way we possibly can. And we're also going to look at other states too and see, how they're doing this and, what's working, what's not working. But as far as those fees, I actually have the same question, because it could be almost up for interpretation. So that's something we might have to clarify.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys being willing to go back and look. And I know you had all hands on deck. Don't get me wrong. I know you had the title companies in there. I know you had the lenders in there. You had realtors. You had Secretary of State, and everybody wants it, right? Like, there's some people that don't, and there'll always be people. Look, change is hard. Let's be honest. Change is very hard. If I'm thinking about it at a competition level as a business owner, and I have to revamp my systems after doing business for multiple decades, that's not an easy conversation to have. Realistically, though, from where the citizens are in the state of North Carolina and the use of technology to make things more efficient and more secure, because as you've mentioned as well, you can forge a paper handwritten document probably more than you could electronically if the right solution providers and safeguards are in place, which is very interesting. So